Hello and welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all. Now in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new HD 450 from John Hot Rod, and I personally think it's one of the most interesting trucks to honestly come to the game in recent memory. Also, before we get much further into the video, I am still in the process of recovering from a cold, and I'm not really going to talk much about it, but yeah, I'm very much so in recovery mode right now. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into A, why I actually really like this truck, and also B, why I think you should definitely check out this truck even if you're not really into Fords, because I know that in the SnowRunner mod community, there are a lot of people that maybe they don't like the brand that a certain truck is based on, so they'll literally just never try the mod out. And I feel like you miss out on so many wonderful trucks that way because it's like, oh, well, I just don't like this one, insert brand name here. And because of that, you just find yourself in a place where you're like, oh, well, this isn't the brand that, I don't know, that my whatever family member doesn't like. And so I automatically shouldn't like them either. And there are so many great trucks out there that you'll just end up missing out on all of them if you think like that. However, granted, I'm not telling anybody how to think because that's the last thing I would literally ever want to do because, hell, who am I to tell anybody how to think? And I'm not going to get off into some philosophy or something in this video, but believe me, I could go off on a tangent and a half. If you like whatever truck brand you like, that's great. I just so happen to, be able to see the benefits of just about all the truck brands. But honestly, I could rant on and on about that for a stupid amount of time. And not even a bad amount of time, but a genuinely stupid amount of time because, well, when you can talk as much as I can talk, talking just becomes a problem. It's just I could just go on and 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 on. And have you had enough of me yet? But to genuinely bring it all back around, and I actually am going to do that this time, the reason why I'm so glad that not only this truck exists, but why John Hot Rod and other creators are still making mods for SnowRunner is because honestly, so many other creators have pulled the plug on their SnowRunner modding. And they've either pulled the plug or they've gone private. And I think there's multiple reasons as to why. But let's talk about what the SnowRunner mod.io page looks like at this present moment in time if you sort by most recently added mods. Now, a lot of the most recently added mods, apart from, well, this one currently being very high in the list, is a lot of just stuff that really isn't all that interesting to the greater player base. Now, it's either small truck tweaks, which is modifications to existing vanilla vehicles, or it's small maps, or it's just mods that are spam, mods that have cover pictures of a Bitcoin logo and stuff like that. And we saw this happen to MudRunner as well on the Steam Workshop because at a certain point, MudRunner's mods just ended up starting to become very recycled, and you would see other mods that were maybe stolen files, uploaded and rebranded with different photos in a different language, but it was actually the same mod the same mods, that had always been there before, but they were getting uploaded in different languages and getting rebranded with different photos to try to be, I guess, remarketed by different people. And I'm seeing this happen now on SnowRunner's mod.io page, and it's I've seen this before with MudRunner, and so seeing it happen in SnowRunner is honestly a little sad because for a lot of people, they're going to look at that and they're going to think, oh, well, I guess the majority of the mod creators have just moved away from this game or this platform or whatever, and then they end up taking their own time and attention somewhere else. So to bring it back around, I'm so glad that mod creators like John Hot Rod still exist. and are still making mods in this space, even if there may be less players in this same space at times. I'm also pretty sure that this is the very first Ford Super Duty truck in this body style that has ever been made a console-friendly mod. So with it being a console-friendly mod, obviously that means that automatically a much larger player base of users can actually drive it, which is wonderful in itself. But it also shows that John Hot Rod as a creator is so committed to allowing the entire community to experience these mods that I can't imagine how much work it took to get this truck fully console compatible. It's insane. And it also helps that it sounds really good too. It's got that same 6.7 liter powerstroke sound that a lot of y'all are probably used to from John Hot Rod's other trucks that feature this same engine. However, I don't know, it seems like with each one of these trucks, that sound ends up getting refined just a little bit more. Now, I could be wrong on that. I don't know if I am or not, but I don't know. You let me know in the comments down below if you've had a similar opinion or experience with these mods getting a little more refined in terms of sounds over the course of, I don't know, just time in general. But either way, it was time to go ahead and actually do some work with this truck because we spent so much time building the thing that it would have been kind of crappy to not actually put it to work. So what I decided to do was use it to get this trailer back to the farm that it originally needed to get back to. Now, you're supposed to bring a semi-truck and hook it up and actually haul it back. However, I didn't really have time for that, but I did have this truck, so I decided to just hook a winch cable and just drag it. And cue all of the angry people in the comments that are going to tell me that I am absolutely playing the game wrong. I am ruining the gameplay experience. I am causing their eyeballs pain to observe this absolute ruination of the SnowRunner experience. And if my way of playing SnowRunner ruins your day that badly, the funny thing is, if you go watch some other SnowRunner videos, you'll find a mixture. You'll find a mixture of people that play SnowRunner kind of somewhat similar to this. They just use random trucks for random things. Or you find the exact opposite, which are the people that only ever use the exact correct truck for the exact job at all times, and they never go outside of the way the game is supposed to be played, or at least the way they imagine the game is supposed to be played, because if the developers didn't want us to play it in all sorts of different types of ways, they wouldn't have made it such an open game. And that's kind of why I'm always, I don't know, I always laugh a little bit when people are like, well, you're playing the game quote unquote wrong. And I'm like, if the developers didn't want me to play the game this way, I wouldn't be able to. Like, so many people out there will comment things like, oh, you're playing the game in such a horrible fashion. The game was never intended to be played this way. I'm like, do y'all have any sense of fun? You realize this is a game, right? And if you subject yourself to all of that stress of always having to play it a certain way every single time, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Like, I don't know, that would defeat the purpose for me. It might not defeat the purpose for you, but it would definitely defeat the purpose of playing a game for me if I was always so worried about playing it in such a perfect quote-unquote way. And I don't know, I didn't necessarily see as much of this back in the days of MudRunner and the original spin tires. It seemed like back then, people were a little bit more in the, I don't know, in the mindset of like, yeah, these games are cool. Like, you play them how you want and I'll play them how I want. But at the same time, that could also just be me doing a, remembering things in a nostalgic way. Like, well, back in my day, because, technically, there are a lot of people that play SnowRunner that have never played MudRunner or the original spin tires. So I don't know. I could just be coming at this whole thing like like an old lady of the community. Who knows? But regardless, if y'all enjoyed this look at this truck and, of course, enjoyed us taking it out and messing around with it a little bit, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. No idea why we smashed into that hay bale, but it had to go. It had to go. Also, if you think I was gonna let the video end without putting these gigantic, like, SEMA truck wheels on this thing, yeah, you're very wrong. You're very wrong. But that is gonna do it for this one, y'all. And if you enjoyed, let me know, and I'll see y'all next time.